What's up, everybody? It's We Talking About Sports. I'm Roland and I'm joined by Justin. And boy, do we have something special for you. It's the first annual We Talking About Sports Big Board. We're going to be going position by position from the college ranks, and we're going to be giving you guys our best available leading into the 2023 NFL Draft. Justin, you're our college correspondent. You have to be excited for this. Tell me what you're thinking right now.
Absolutely excited about this. Get to see these college kids become men in the NFL. And what better way to start than my guy from CJ Stroud from Ohio State?
Yes, we're starting with the quarterbacks, and we're starting at the top with CJ Stroud. He is We Talking About Sports #1 quarterback going into the draft, coming out of Ohio State. 2022, he had 41 pass touchdowns with only 6 interceptions on about 3,700 passing yards and over 8,000 passing yards for the career. So nothing less to be expected coming out of Ohio State with those stats. But CJ Stroud is #1, and let's get into these breakdowns here. He's a tall quarterback. He fits the prototypical mold. He's statistical god. If you want to talk about coming in from Ohio State, he puts up all the numbers. Justin, do you want to give me a little bit of what you like about him with some of the video that's playing here against Georgia?
Well, some of this video is not detailing what he can do, but I mean, you're seeing some of the highlights from that Georgia game. That's probably one of the better defenses he played this year. But stuff that I like about CJ Stroud is that, he leads his receivers for more yards after the catch. He has a good clock. And he saw decent success against good competition in the Big Ten. Now, granted, when it came to the big dogs of the Big Ten, like Michigan, he did lose twice. He wasn't able to beat them, and once against Georgia. But he was in that Georgia game all the way into the end. Fortunately for a missed field goal, they'd be in the national championship if not.
And that's what seals it for me. And maybe I'm taking him at his high point here against this Georgia game. Or against this Georgia defense, that everybody was talking about. It's not as good as the defense last year, but it was still a top-ranked defense coming into the to semifinal. CJ Stroud played his best against the best competition that he faced all year. You see here with some of these highlights, these are some of the things that I like about him. He has the ability to step up in the pocket, manipulate the rush, avoid a rusher to extend the play, and he's able to make multiple reads in one play. You see here too,
Field
he
vision
saw
is
his
key,
first
Roland.
read, and he hits Marvin Harrison in the back of the end zone on the run. The only thing I would say about CJ Stroud that I would like to see him do a little bit more, and he does it here on some of these highlights, is use his legs a little bit more. He has the ability to run. He's a fast guy. I wouldn't say he's Justin Fields, the guy, his predecessor that came the year before him from Ohio State, but he does have that ability to run once he gets going. And that's why I don't want to be too far-fetched here with my pro comp. Everyone has to give out a pro comp. I'd like to stay away from that. But when I look at him and he's playing his best, the way he stands in the pocket, he can avoid the rush, and he still has his accuracy on the run. He reminds me a little bit of Joe Burrow here. He can be like a Joe Burrow, Jared Goff type, who stands high and tall in the pocket, can step up and make those throws. And CJ Stroud, like I said, after watching this Georgia game, that's really what sealed it for me as him being the #1 quarterback. He checks all the boxes for me. He's a prototypical size, like we talked about. He's 6'3", 6'4". He has the ability to move around in the pocket. He has the accuracy. He doesn't have the best arm strength in this draft. That'll probably be Will Levis, but he still has the arm strength to get it done. Mm-hmm. And that's why for us here at We Talking About Sports, he's our #1 quarterback here. Are you safe saying that, Justin, going into this draft?
Yeah, and I want to praise him a little bit. Something I want to talk about is the ability to master the offense. It feels like CJ Stroud really knew that Ohio State offense, knew exactly how to command it. Now, if I want to knock him a little bit, I'm going to talk about, like you said, he's not the running threat like he could be, but he is able to move outside the pocket to get guys open. He throws people open doing so. And he doesn't make a lot of big plays off script. He's not Mahomes, when he is running. He's still looking on target for the receiver he's supposed to be going to, which may be a good thing because it eliminates mistakes. He didn't throw a lot of interceptions throughout the year. The one knock I will say is when you watch Ohio State's games this year, he didn't seem like he was the biggest vocal leader in that locker room. But that I don't know if that, you want to be the bigger vocal leader. Joe Burrow seems to do it when he's down talking to the O-line. He could step into that because I don't think Joe Burrow was the biggest vocal leader either coming out of LSU. So I do like your player comparison there too as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up, mastering of the offense, because that shows a maturity, that shows a willingness to learn, that shows a willingness, to put in the hours, in the film room. You're willing to, go there the next day and break down the film and, look at what you did right and look at what you did wrong and get better. And, you're right. Watching Ohio State, you do get the feel that maybe he wasn't the best vocal leader, or the most vocal leader rather, but he just had complete control of the offense. And that's what you like to see. If he gets into the right system here, depending on who has that number one pick, that's the other thing that's at hand with this pick. We don't know who's going to pick number one, since the Bears came out and said they're open to trading that pick since they're happy with Fields and they're not going to go quarterback. He can tear it up in this league, because he's going to be putting in the work right away. I would feel like he would. So CJ Stroud, I'm comfortable having him number one. I know he wasn't probably number one coming into the year. A lot of people had maybe guys like Bryce Young or Will Levis ranked ahead of him. But for me, like I said during this breakdown, this Georgia game proved a lot for me. If he had come out and laid an egg and it looked like, some of those past Ohio State teams, when they come out and they play an SEC team in the Final Four and they get run over, or, prior national championships, but he looked like he belonged there and some, Joe Burrow, he wasn't maybe the number one quarterback going into the draft, but once he played against that top competition and, put up those numbers, he proved he was the number one guy, and there was no question after that. So a lot of work to do probably in the draft process for CJ Stroud to solidify himself as the number one guy, but I'm comfortable having him at number one on our quarterback big board.
Yeah, definitely. And Bryce Young's probably a little bit more mobile than CJ Stroud is. But as you can see here during these highlights, when he's moving with his feet, it's functional mobility. It works, and he does it probably better than any other quarterback coming out of this draft, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, and I think I don't know if we have it here too, but he just has the ability to, we talk about extending the play, but he has also the ability just to take a 1 or 2 step drop and hit the guy on the slant, so he's a great quarterback. I think with mastering of the offense, like we've talked about, it's really
He's
going
got
to
good
help him
size. I mean, his
excel.
measurables are there, rolling 6'2", 6'3". That's where you want to be, a little bit longer shoulder to shoulder in his frame than Bryce Young is. So that's something to look at as well when you're taking a quarterback first overall.
But yeah, I mean, this is CJ Stroud, guys. If you guys feel differently, because like we said, this is the quarterback group that we're breaking down, and we know everybody has their opinions on quarterbacks. Everybody likes their prototypical quarterback, like maybe CJ Stroud or Levis, or you like a guy that's a little bit smaller who can move around more, like Bryce Young out of Alabama. Everybody has their opinion. So if you guys have a different opinion on who should be number one, let us know. But we're going to give you guys our top 5 in each position group, right? That's the plan.
That's the plan for the We Talking About Sports big board, baby.
Let's do it.
Peace.